The sun was dipping low over Pinewood Grove, casting long shadows across my driveway, when Mrs. Evelyn Harper stormed across the street, her voice cutting through the evening calm like a foghorn. No boats, no RVs, no oversized junk in this neighborhood, she barked, jabbing a manicured finger at the tarp-covered shape parked behind my house. I didn't flinch, didn't snap back. Instead, I strolled over, yanked the tarp aside, and let the sleek, 26-foot Navy patrol, boat complete with official serial numbers and military markings, do the talking. Her jaw tightened, but I just turned, walked back inside, and picked up the phone. That call would set off a chain of events that'd bring her little empire crashing down. I'm Jack Sullivan, though most folks call me Sully. At 52, I'm a retired Navy Chief Petty Officer with 24 years of salt and grit behind me. 2 years ago, I settled into my late mom's house in Pinewood Grove, a sleepy suburb of 85 homes where the biggest drama used to be whose lawn was greenest. I ignored the HOA rulebook when I moved Ina, a rookie mistake I'd pay for. By day, I'm a maritime security consultant, using my Navy know-how to keep ports and ships safe, finally VYing the quiet CIVY life I dreamed of during endless deployments. But peace? That didn't last long. The real storm wasn't at sea. It was Evelyn Harper, the 48-year-old HOA president who ran Pinewood like her personal fiefdom. Evelyn wasn't just strict, she was a suburban tyrant. A former realtor with a rap sheet of shady deals, she had too much time and a surveillance setup that'd make a spy blush. Armed with her clipboard and a posse of loyalists, she turned our cozy community into a pressure cooker, where every misplaced trash can felt like a federal offense. I'd barely unpacked when my old Navy buddy, Tom Carver, asked me to look after his rigid-hull, inflatable Boadan Arbum while he was deployed in the Mediterranean. Tom and I had served together for over a decade, and it's standard for sailors to entrust gear to buddies back home. This wasn't just any boat. It was a high-tech, 26-foot beast used for coastal patrols, drug busts, and rescues, loaded with navigation systems and engines that'd leave CIVY speedboats in the dust. It arrived on a military trailer, parked in my backyard, and covered with a heavy-duty tarp. I had all the paperwork, custody forms from Tom's CO, insurance, maintenance schedules, everything screaming official U.S. Navy business. I thought I was set. Then Evelyn struck. The day after the boat arrived, she materialized in my yard like a heat-seeking missile, camera flashing, measuring tape snapping like a whip. She crawled under the trailer, climbed ladders for overhead shots, and photographed every angle like she was building a case for the FBI. "What is this eyesore?" she demanded, her voice dripping with contempt. I kept my cool, channeling years of de-escalation training. "Ma'am, this is government property. I'm holding it for a deployed sailor." I showed her the Navy markings, the documents, the works. She didn't even glance at them. "HOA rules are clear," she snapped, while VYing a hand like she was dismissing a peasant. "No boats, no exceptions. I don't care if it's the president's." Her sneer when she called my Sarah VYC a sob story made my blood boil, but I stayed calm, suggested she check the HOA's military exemptions, and went inside. That was strike one. The next few weeks felt like a siege. Evelyn unleashed a barrage of violation notices for and all, sent by email and certified mail, each dripping with legalese that'd make a lawyer wince. She led surprise inspections with her bored cronies, measuring the boat like they were prepping for a moon landing, scribbling notes on legal pads. I handed over every document VYing the boat's legality, but she refused to look, her stubbornness rivaling a mule's. By week 4, she went nuclear. A lawyer's letter, paid for with HOA funds, demanded I remove the boat or face due law 500 daily fines. She didn't stop there. Evelyn canvassed the neighborhood, armed with doctored photos that made the RBM look like a battleship dwarfing my house. She conned VY and said neighbors to sign complaints, claiming my boat was tanking property values. I later learned she'd photoshopped those images, turning a patrol boat into a hulking destroyer. It was propaganda straight out of a dictator's playbook. I started building a case of my own, recording every interaction, VYing every threatening letter, and documenting her campaign. The pressure was intense, but I'd faced worse hostile boardings, storms at sea. Evelyn's tactics were child's play compared to that. Still, I saw the bigger picture. She wasn't just after me. She'd terrorized the whole neighborhood. Mrs. Clara Bennett, a 67-year-old retired teacher next door, got violation notices for her vegetable garden. D. Lawson, a reasonable board member, was bullied into silence at meetings. Evelyn's reign was a cancer, and I was done playing nice. The breaking point came on a Saturday, while I was consulting at a port. Evelyn, thinking I was gone, trespassed into my yard and slapped bright red violation stickers all over the boat sides, bow, stern, motor, trailer, like a vandal tagging a subway car. Neighbors watched, stunned. Some recorded it. Clara later told me she'd photographed the whole thing from her kitchen, torn between calling the cops and calling me. When I got home and saw the boat looking like a crime scene, I knew it was go time. I called Tom, VY and Navy channels, and the Navy's legal office. What I learned floored me. Tagging military property was a federal crime under Title 18, Section 1360, with fines up to $250,000 and 10 years in prison. Evelyn had also committed trespassing, vandalism, and harassment. My security cameras caught it all, backed by neighbor statements and a paper trail of her threats. The EVY Denke was airtight. Allies started emerging. Clara, fed up with Evelyn's garden citations, was ready to testify. The VYD spilled dirt on Evelyn's boardroom bullying. The kicker? Evelyn's ex-husband, Robert Harper, a retired lawyer, dropped a bombshell. She'd forged signatures to pass HOA rules, jacked up fines without votes, and used HOA funds for personal expenses, including her lawyer against me. With federal law and a mountain of EVY Denke on my side, I plan to counterstrike. Report the crime to the Naval Criminal Investigative Service VYC, file CI VYL suits, challenge her shady rules, and expose her at a community meeting. Evelyn, Obly VYS, called a special HOA meeting to expel the lawbreaker me. She thought it'd be her crowning moment. 67 households showed up, the biggest turnout ever, fueled by curiosity and exhaustion with her dictatorship. She opened with a PowerPoint, flashing her doctored photos and quoting cherry-picked bylaws, painting me as a menace to Pinewood's way of life. Her voice boomed with courtroom drama. We cannot tolerate this disrespect. She expected applause. Instead, the room simmered with doubt. I stood, calm as ever, and asked to speak. Before you vote, I said, let's clear up some facts. The room hushed as I played my security footage, showing Evelyn sneaking onto my property, sticking up the boat like a petty criminal. Gasps rippled through the crowd. I read her threatening emails, each word shredding her credibility. Then I dropped the hammer. This boat is active Navy property. By tagging it, Mrs. Harper committed a federal crime, due law $450,000 in fines, 10 years in prison. The room froze. Evelyn's face went white. Right on cue, NCIS agent Martinez walked in, flashed his badge, and announced Evelyn was under investigation. The crowd erupted shock, cheers, vindication. Robert stood and tore into Evelyn, exposing her forged signatures and embezzlement. The VYD presented records of her power grabs. Clara recounted her garden harassment. Neighbors piled on. Fake permits, personal legal fees billed to the HOA. The vote to oust Evelyn was a landslide 61-4. They demanded an audit, rule re-VYEW, and new oversight. To my shock, they begged me to be interim president. I just want to live quietly, I protested. Clara's reply hit home. That's why we need you, Sully. You fought her. Evelyn left in silence, alone as neighbors watched. 6 months later, she faced the music. Due law $450,000 in fines, 18 months probation, 200 hours of community SARE VYC for veterans. Due law $15,000 in restitution, and a permanent ban from HOAs. Her real estate license was toast, her record stained forever. Pinewood transformed. As elected president, I slashed 80 fan tram of Evelyn's rules, cut fines, and set up a fair grievance council. Clara's garden became a community market. The VYD's transparent budgets rebuilt trust. Barbecues replaced inspections, and kids played freely again. The boat went back to Tom's unit, but not before I got a Navy Citizen SARE VYC award, our story featured as a case study on their site. Now, I sip coffee on my porch, watching a neighborhood reborn. Clara shares tomatoes with passers-by. The VYD waves, no longer clutching a camera. The old boat spot's now a kids' play area, filled with laughter. A new sign at Pinewood's entrance reads, "Friendly community welcomes you." I'm dating Sarah, the librarian who documented Evelyn's abuses, and we laugh about how her tyranny united us. I consult for other HOAs, helping them break free of their own petty tyrants. Pinewood's not just a place, Anna Marie, it's a community. So what do you think? Was Evelyn just a control freak, or did she deserve every bit of that due, law $450,000 fine? Should HOAs have the power to bully residents, or are they a necessary EVYL? Have you faced a tyrant like Evelyn in your neighborhood? Drop your stories below, hit that like button, and subscribe if you got more tales of justice to share.